Hello everyone, and welcome back to Occult Perspectives. Out here in the woods again today after work. As you can see, the leaves are starting to turn their colors and they're starting to fall. Autumn is truly here. It's really beautiful. Some of the prettiest scenery that exists happens in the fall time, I think. I really like, there's the leaves falling. Look at them. Leaves falling everywhere around here. I don't know if you can see all the leaves up there. It's really cool. But my favorite trees are, I really like the trees that are red, have red leaves. Ooh. Something heavy just fell there, like an acorn or something. Gotta watch out for that. Well, the whole theme of fall kind of falls in line. Play on words there, didn't even mean to do that. Kind of falls in line with Archangel Gabriel, which is the topic of this video. For those of you who are new to the channel, what we do on here is we discuss different esoteric research subjects, such as Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, Freemasonry, ceremonial magic, archangels, you name it. We talk about it on here. Archangel Gabriel is associated with fall. Traditionally, I believe the west, the direction of the west, is associated with the season of fall, and Archangel Gabriel is traditionally associated with autumn. I think Archangel Michael would be summer. That would make sense. Uriel would be winter, since Earth is considered the more darker element. It's really just Earth's the more dense, more physical. Well, I wouldn't say dense. It's only denser in the physical sense, as in physical reality. But Earth's considered the direction of quote-unquote darkness, because of, it corresponds with night or winter. And then Raphael would be spring. That would make sense. So there you go. Anyway, the topic of this video is a couple of my experiences with Archangel Gabriel I wanted to share. I shared a little story about Archangel Michael the other day. So Archangel Gabriel, I have invoked Gabriel recently. Gabriel's really good for emotional healing. And I do find that anytime that I do, an invoking, like a lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram, and invoke Gabriel in all directions, there usually is some kind of a feeling of, it just feels like there's kind of like a weight taken off your heart sometimes, because Raphael is more directed towards physical healing, whereas Gabriel is going to be more emotional healing. So you want to use the angels more to help you in your integration process, though, rather than using the angels as kind of like just a way out. Because if you take that approach, it's never really going to work out well for you in the end. And we've talked about that on this channel quite a bit. You don't want to bypass what it is that your soul is actually needing to experience. But my personal experiences with Gabriel, as with most other archangels, I'll notice the color typically that is associated with the angel. I will see more of that color. It's not necessarily that I'll see a lot more of it, but I'll notice that color more. It'll stand out more to me amongst other everyday objects. So with Gabriel, the corresponding color would be blue, obviously, for water. So I will typically, blue objects will seem to stand out. As far as an actual, really intimate experience with Gabriel, and something that's interesting about Archangel Gabriel too is there's two different forms that I have kind of when I do invocation of Gabriel, there's two different forms. One is the very watery, I usually picture like waterfalls, and it's a very like calm, soothing type energy. But I've also had Gabriel appear almost with like a red type of color, you know, in my visualizations as I'm doing the invoking. He or she, you know, for me, the energy usually appears in a more feminine form, but it's not ever clearly distinctly male or female for the most part. It's almost the angels. Ooh, there's a snake. What kind of snake we got? Probably nothing. Nope, nothing venomous. Nope. There he is. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I bothered you enough. So what does that symbolize, I wonder? I wonder what kind of snake that is. Probably just, I don't think it's poisonous, otherwise its head would be shaped in a diamond form. Probably just a normal, I don't know, garter snake or forest snake. Pretty typical brown. But that's interesting that the snake crossed my path. So think about the symbolism of that and the serpent. I usually think more serpent energy with Raphael, but maybe there's a correspondence with Gabriel as well. So yeah, what I was saying is that Gabriel will sometimes appear in a more red form. I haven't really had that happen in a long time. That was more back, you know, when I was doing regular practices of the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram. I still perform it, but not nearly as often as I used to. So I think that's kind of interesting too. And I think that might have some correspondence with the phoenix, that red color. It's kind of like a more, you could almost say like kind of a more severe aspect of Gabriel, but Gabriel is not really an angel that's known to have like that fiery side. But I guess maybe the phoenix energy or the eagle, people say the eagle, but really the eagle is the phoenix. The phoenix is the true original prototype of the phoenix. Just ran into a spider web. You'll get that back here every now and again. Usually once you walk around the trail once, the spider webs are kind of dispelled, and then it takes them, you know, an hour or so to build a new spider web. Getting caught in the webs. Hopefully it's a good spider energy and not too dark of the spider energy. The spider energy it's quite an interesting archetype from a symbolical perspective. But here I am getting off track once again, which I usually tend to do. But I also try to pay attention to, you know, synchronicities and stuff in the everyday moment. So Archangel Gabriel, I had a very interesting experience. I knew the night that my son was conceived, and his name is Raziel, interestingly enough. Raziel is probably my favorite archangel. I think he's probably the coolest one. Keeper of the secrets of God, and he keeps a quote-unquote record, almost like an Akashic record of all the events, you know, that transpire on Earth. But yeah, I do know specifically, you know, I couldn't tell you the date, but I do know when my son was conceived, because there was this energy that came down, and I just knew instinctively from the flash of an image that I had of this angel's quote-unquote face. Like I said before, it's usually very androgynous. It's not totally masculine, it's not totally feminine. That's just how the energies come across, because, you know, they have mixtures of both masculine and feminine. But Gabriel's going to be an angel that veers a little bit more towards the feminine energy side of things. But I saw, you know, I had my eyes closed and I saw the visualization of this angel, Gabriel. And I just knew that's who it was. And it made a lot of sense to me because of the whole story, you know, with Jesus and Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel is the one who very much so in the lore of archangels is kind of like the messenger, or the one who can kind of like who can magically, how do I want to put this? Can almost like magically or ritualistically insert the spark of life, the spark of the divine, into a child. And so I think Archangel Gabriel is very much a force that is present with a lot of like children and childbirth and that sort of thing, being the messenger of source, manifesting human life down here in the physical plane. So I think Archangel Gabriel, has a really close tie with that. So that was a pretty profound experience, and it's one I'll never really forget. And it was not something that I really like ever told anybody right away. It was just something I kind of kept to myself. And then I told a couple people later on, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool." So I thought that was pretty neat. And I don't know if any of you have ever had this happen, but I don't know what it is about certain archangels and about certain energies. Sometimes it happens with certain books. If I'm reading a particular book, for some reason, thinking of that entity or thing, or whether it's a book or a spirit that I'm working with, there'll be an image of my mind of a particular place that I've been before. And sometimes it won't really seem to correspond, but in the case of Archangel Gabriel, there's this memory that will always come to my mind, and it always has when I think of Archangel Gabriel. It doesn't happen all the time, but there's a memory of me and my family, and I think my brother was there too. My brother's autistic, so he lives in Columbus. He lives in kind of like a group home type thing. They take really good care of him there. He's considered lower functioning autistic, so he doesn't talk, and he can't hear, so he's deaf. So it's really, communication's really tough. And when he got older, it was just, he got really violent and stuff. So my mom couldn't handle him anymore. He could pretty much beat us up. He's a good, like, at least 4 inches taller than me. He's a pretty tall guy. So I know he whacked me good a couple times. So, but anyway, just a side note about my brother there. But I think maybe because it's just such a simple memory of me and my family eating dinner together. I think it was like in the mall, something along the lines of like a Perkins. I don't think that's what it was, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. And for some reason, it's just such a locked away memory. There's nothing else that would really bring that memory to the forefront, but there's something about focusing on Archangel Gabriel that brings that memory of us together, eating together, in the mall. So maybe that was a point in time where maybe that's when that spirit started to unconsciously or subconsciously communicate with me, even when I was young, when I was a child. I probably would have been like between 8 and 11 at the time. Maybe not even that old. I feel like it's even an older memory, but I can't really pinpoint like an exact year or time. But I do know that it's a real memory, so it's not just my imagination. So that's interesting. For some reason, Crowley 4, the big giant blue book, Magic 4, I'm sorry, it was written by Crowley, Magic 4, kind of his magnum opus. There is a music festival at a venue I used to go to a lot, and there's just a certain area, a certain spot in that venue that for some reason, as I was reading that book, it would keep making me think of that particular spot. Not really any other spots, in just one area. And I don't know why that is. So if anybody else has ever had that phenomena where if something, it really could be anything. If there's anything like a book or an item, or if you're working with a spirit and it calls to mind a certain memory, take note of that. There might be something to that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much, I haven't had like any really profound, like, oh my gosh type experiences with Archangel Gabriel, but I think that just those couple of things alone are pretty interesting to take note of. And you know, I'm somebody who's worked with angels for quite a while now, so it is interesting to take note of these different things as they take place. Kind of, you know, after you're done with your workings or your rituals, it's always good to just sit there afterwards and kind of soak in the energy and, you know, visualize what it is that's coming to the forefront of your mind. But typically, yeah, Gabriel is very much water. I can almost feel the water, even though there's no physical water, kind of cleansing away certain aspects of the self that may be built up that's toxic, and it helps you to clear that, you know. That might be, I think that's a pretty good way to look at the way that Archangel Gabriel's energy operates. So anyway, I think I will go ahead and leave this video, and I will go ahead and leave the video ending right here. I hope that maybe you learned something from this video. I'm just trying to make some videos that are talking about things that aren't, you know, typical or aren't normally talked about, like in the spiritual, you know, community. Trying to give like different perspectives on things, you know, a little bit unique. So, and hopefully it helps all of you in your journeys. So if you found value in this video, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe, and if you want to be notified of new videos, make sure you ring the notification bell. If you did learn something cool from this, if you want to go ahead and pop down in the comment section, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you've had any cool experiences with Archangel Gabriel or any other spirits at all, really. So would love to hear it. So all right, everyone, I will end it there. Thank you very, very much. Peace and blessings. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you happen to be, and I will see you next time. Peace.